I know. I feel extra bad for being there, don't know what I'm saying. But he's got water.
We got your name. Good morning.
Morning, Howard.
Good morning, y'all.
Good morning, Neil.
We were waiting for y'all to get here.
Let's see.
Bruce, I guess the next adventure is bringing up. Since Helen's been here, but she hadn't worked on garden furniture. That's exactly true. I don't care how old.
Only a rumor.
By the way, today is Howard Becker's birthday. Where is he?
Was that yesterday?
It was yesterday? Oh, I missed it.
And he's 92. You're being recorded. Nice.
He's married to a much older woman.
That's what I heard. Good woman.
Jason, can that thing be?
I have whether that's Mr. Stout.
Swivel? Swivel. Yes, it can be swivel, but if they swivel to you, then people like it.
So you don't have to move the seats. Here it comes.
Well, I tell you what,
Right on
very
time.
punctual.
Everybody else do that. Step over the page. Sounds fair.
Morning.
Good morning. All right, let's go ahead and get started now that we have everybody here. Good morning, so glad y'all came. Isn't our building beautiful, y'all? Don't you think it is? Say yes. A few housekeeping things. If you need to use restroom, we have a handicap restroom. It's down this hall, second door to the left. We have egress through 2 doors in case we all need to leave quickly.
What do you do if you're not handicapped?
Well, you just.
Can't use it.
You
Out back.
That's what it was.
And if y'all would just kind of turn your phones off so that we can go ahead and get our business done this morning. We're going to start off with Mr. Oliver is going to offer our invocation this morning, and then we will all rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Bill?
Heavenly Father, we are so grateful for this. We're so grateful for everything. Thank you for the opportunity to gather together with our team here and our citizens. Thank you for the opportunity to serve this community. Give all the glory to you. Please protect everyone that lives here, that travels here, that visits here. Watch over them. Thank you for all your efforts and blessings. We pray this earnestly in our Lord and Savior Jesus.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. The first point of business is to have approval of minutes from the workshop of this regular meeting and our regular council meeting. I need to hear a motion to approve these presented minutes.
So move.
Thank you, Tim. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Jim. Any discussion? All in favor of approving these presented minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, signify by nay. Motion carries. All right, adoption of the agenda. I'd like to hear a motion to adopt today's agenda as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Jim. Second. Thank you, Bruce. Discussion? All in favor of adopting our agenda, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, mayoral and council remarks, and I hope y'all don't mind, I'm gonna take just a few minutes to make remarks. First of all, we are so excited about being in this building. This building took a lot of people and a lot of time to come to fruition. It was a long process involving a previous council who purchased this building. This current council, the marketing committee, the planning and zoning, the citizen survey, our wonderful employees. It is here and we're excited. I want to thank also Chip Oliver, who did our renovations, and if you all will take a tour of the building, and we will let you do that for $5 each. You go, we'll have a bucket at the door. You did a fantastic job. I want to also thank two citizens that are both here today. It's Style and Dan McAfee. They designed and built our wonderful council desk, inserted our television on the wall. They did a fantastic job. I want to thank the McAfees for giving us a refrigerator for our kitchen, which is right there. Thank you all. I want to thank the CBC Church and the chapel for allowing us to meet in their building for a zillion years. And I know that was a lot of work, and I appreciate it so much. I want to also thank our two gentlemen that are our website consultants. They have put in a new kiosk, which you all have to go into the City Hall section and see. It's fabulous. And also I want to thank Sharon Van Camp, who is our communication specialist, who has worked tirelessly to get us up and running, get the visitor center going. She's worked on technology. And I think if you paid attention to her announcements on what's happening in the city, she does it in a timely, wonderful fashion. Thank you, Sharon, and it is quite obvious we did need your position here at Sky Valley, and you can never leave. Thank you so much. All right, any council remarks that we have?
There is so much that can be said that you've already said. I think the whole building just exceeds expectations, which is the back road, the emergency exit to Sky Valley. And I think this is just one more step in preparing Sky Valley for a very bright future with infrastructure that is in good repair and ready for the next century. And thank you too for restoring the councilman's and mayor's remarks at the beginning of the meeting. It's been a long time, so another new beginning.
I can't take credit for that, but you're welcome. Anybody else need to say anything? Okay, now let's go to, I think we're at the city manager report. Mr. Straitman, take it away.
All right, good morning, everybody. I want to welcome everyone, as the mayor said, to the new City Hall Visitor Center, Council Chamber Municipal Court building. As she mentioned, it is a long time coming, and it's great that this building is finally being utilized in a way that serves the citizens. Good to see the crowd here today. We'll talk about a few things here. If you are a full-time resident, as the mayor and a couple of council members said, you probably have noticed some infrastructure upgrades that we've done here throughout the city, Evergreen, Squaw Valley, Snowshoe, Specialty. These are some of the pavings that we've done recently. The new culvert replacement at the old lodge in Chapel. If you're a seasonal visitor, I hope you ride around and see what's going on. Speaking of paving, we have received many inquiries from residents wanting to know when we're gonna get to the road. I just wanted to let people know that, we do have a priority list, we're also. One of the things we're waiting on to move forward is the county. As you all may have known, the T-Splosh put in a bid where we're trying to get a best price. And from speaking with Scott Provance, the county road guy, that has not quite happened yet. But once we get that information and we find out what kind of group pricing we can get for road paving, we will move forward. We will move forward with a recommendation, either go with these companies or continue to try to use the vendors we've used in the past. On the culvert construction site, the new culvert, if anybody's had a chance to look at this, I know there were some delays there. We had to close the road, as you can see here. These are some photos. And again, this is the phase 2 that we talked about with the Morty Culvert Bridge being phase 1. This is the tributary that feeds into Mud Creek. The CDC's over here, the chapel's over there. We were able to get this done very timely before all the crowd comes in. You don't mind the next slide, Sharon. As you can see, we had, there's when the head wall was poured, that had to put a junction box in, and then if you go to the rock, we recently had it rocked. We've got to go in and put some surge stone. I'll let the guys talk about that, but as you can see, it's kind of it enhances and what we've done there. And the good thing about this, the road pavings, that was paid for T-Splosh. This was our 2023 LMIG project. When the dust cleared, this was around $70,000 to do this. And approximately $42,000 of that was paid with LMIG, triple E money, and then the balance will be paid with T-Splosh. So no real hit in the taxpayers.
Jason, those fellows that did the beautiful rock work job, are they the same ones that did the more?
Yes, they did. The Paleo Stone, they were very competitive in the price, and they were very quick, very responsive, and yeah, they do great work. So yeah, we're very, very pleased. Moving along here. This right here, I'm gonna let Cody English, our water coordinator, discuss this. But we recently purchased a ground penetrating radar tool. We're excited about this. He's gonna talk a little bit about all the uses for this. So I don't want to steal his thunder there. And I just want to quickly talk about, I know we have a proclamation going here, but as you can all see, this bench here will be for memory of Bob Powers. I know we're gonna talk about that very soon, but I don't have a slide for that, but since it's in here. And then if you'll go to the next slide. This is going to be we've had several inquiries from our pickleball players. We're wanting a windscreen. It has been ordered. It will go along the road, the Sky Valley Road there. And this is what it's gonna look like. So it should be here hopefully next month. I'm sure the guys will thrilled about having to install that. I want to thank Public Works for everything they do. When you're a small city like this, everybody's all hands on deck already. You never know what you're gonna get into for the day, but the lifting, the installation, the moving, everything in the world, it always kind of falls on Jerry and his guys to do that. So I just want to thank you all publicly for that. Again, as the mayor said, please take some time to walk to the center. We do have some of our signs up. We're waiting for some other signage, which we should be getting the parking lot restriped here in the next couple of weeks. I think the plan is to, once all the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, everything is purdy, as they say, where I'm from, Lower Alabama. I think the plan is to do a ribbon cutting and probably have a big cake and get the media to come out, but we are proud of what of here, and we see big things. Very quickly, just want to talk about, you all should have received your monthly report financials. As we are in mid-late April now, our expenditures should be around 31%, around 32%, so we're on track on Revenue side, we've taken in approximately around 97% of our property taxes. Collection efforts have gone into place for that remaining amount. And on the revenue side, we're about 87% on our revenue for the year, so things are looking pretty good. And then finally, as had been discussed in previous meetings, we are partnering with Georgia Tech to receive an intern, and we're excited about that. When this is through PEN, the Partnership for Inclusivity is a program through Georgia Tech. There was about 6 or 7 candidates that we spoke to. A lot of them were international. There was one from Africa, one from China. The young lady that's gonna come work with us, she is from Ukraine. And so, she's got a background in, computer, marketing, using marketing technology. So we are excited about that. She'll be involved in our projects, our 4th of July, and our Fall Fest, and other type of print media, marketing, social media. So, as we get closer to the 4th of July, which will be here before we know it, Fall Fest, you'll probably see her. She should be here in the middle of next month, and will probably be here until sometime mid-August. So,
Where will she live?
well, that's a good question. We have, the town sheriff, Ms. Brown, has told us that she thinks that she has a place for her to stay for the short term. She will receive a housing stipend. There's no cost to the city. So that is my understanding that they're working those details out. But, she did come up last week. She did, last Friday, she came up and got a tour of the city. And, again, it's a great honor for the city. I think there's, about 40 of these interns in all the cities and counties throughout the state that competed for that. We're one of those. So,
So she's a student at Georgia Tech?
she actually has her degree, but I believe this is a program that's like a certificate type program, but, she already has a bachelor's degree from a university in Ukraine. Speaks English, which is good. I mean, so, and so you may see, because I sure can't speak Ukrainian. But anyway, she should be here. It's a great honor. And, this was something that our mayor had found for us many months ago. She called me, she said, you ought to apply for this. And we did, so we got it. So, like other things. So, but anyway, that's all I have unless anybody has any questions. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to thank the city. We have a culvert on our road, gravel road, Cobblewood, that has been failing for quite some time. And I think it was kind of a Herculean effort because once they got in there, it had been years of erosion, and it was very close to failing, wouldn't you say?
Oh, it was, the culvert was done. I mean, it was just a matter of time for that. I was surprised that it hadn't already. Just made a big sinkhole and somebody drove in it, you know.
Somebody?
Somewhere.
I'm not gonna mention y'all.
Well, there's only one person that lived down that road, so.
There was a couple of trees just to the left of it. And they, of course, people used to do that and fill it in, think that was good, but it had started eroding around it, and the tree was soaking up the water. So if it hadn't been soaking up a lot of that water, and it would have probably happened a long time ago. But we cut that out. We had a hole, like Bruce saying, it was, you could just nearly drive a vehicle in the side of where the hole was at. It was huge. But we got it replaced, and it's working well right now.
And the finish work is outstanding, guys. Looks great.
Thank you.
Well, I will say, although there's only one house on that road, we have very strong indicators there's gonna be development. So there's a master plan behind that.
That's wonderful.
There's 20-something building lots back there, and I had been told under good authority, there's about 3 or 4 pending sales in the Evergreen area. So we know that's gonna be an area that's gonna see growth. And so we're just trying to, so being the deferred maintenance, preventative and proactive maintenance, so that's what we do.
Jason, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Tim.
I have a question on the financial report.
Yes, sir.
Electric franchise tax, it's up a great deal. How does that work?
I would say it's up probably from a lot of the new development coming in too,
So
but.
is it a function of how much electricity gets sold in the sky?
Yeah, there's a formula there, I would have to probably give you that. But yeah, but we have several new houses and usages and new users. And, yeah, that's the tax that allows them to use our right of ways.
Another question is delinquent taxes. We've collected $8,015. So we are already, taxes were due February, what day?
7th.
Oh, the 7th,
So
yeah, Georgia law has some requirements, we have to give them so much time, but anybody that's in agreement right now, collection efforts have been going, are in full force, we use Appalachian Services, they do a great job. Penalties, interest, everything's accruing, so if anybody is delinquent in their taxes, that may be in the audience or watching, know somebody, it would be in your best interest to pay it, because every day that goes by, the holes just get bigger, bigger.
I think, I'm talking to Monica, but we have 69 delinquencies, and I think most of those must be lots.
Some of them are lots, some of them are wrong addresses, where we find out where we're having to resend out the tax bills. Some of those where properties have been sold, and depending upon the timing when that was done, the tax bill may have gone to the original owner, they may not have forwarded it to the new owner, so it's very important if you're buying or selling property in the city. And also, a lot of people, we find that when they buy a property, that they understand they have county taxes, but they may not realize they have city taxes. So, there's multifaceted reasons why, but the fact is, we are pursuing this. I think we're right around, there's about 30,000 left and outstanding, and that's,
The closing attorney should know that.
yeah, you think so, what I'm stating is from conversations that we have with these property owners, when they share with us why they're delinquent, for whatever
What
reason.
about chronic delinquencies? Do we have some that every year?
Sure, there are, I mean, Monica gave me a report here, that, just for the sake, you don't have this, but, this goes back to 2014, and we've actually been able to be very proactive, going back some of these years of actually being able to collect back taxes, but going back to 2014, right now, we have, less than $200 owed, less than 615, 916, about 1,817, and so about 3,018. So we're a lot of these, I won't say the can has been kicked, but we are taking the ball and we're going after these
But
back
my question is, are those all the same people that are delinquent every year?
I'd have to pull the report and let you know, I can give you that information.
I got one more question. Interest income, that's much higher than past. What are we,
Interest rates.
okay, and what are we collecting interest on? The enterprise fund, is it?
Well, all of our checking accounts, up until a few months ago, back before the rates started going up, all of our accounts are now about 3 3/4 to 4% interest that we're receiving, where in the past, that's like 0.9. So, that is one of the things, that is one of the unintended consequences of, if you're paying more to borrow, we're getting more money on our investments and our money in the bank. So, that was a pleasant, unanticipated, result, but it is driving up, and we're seeing, where it was a few $100s a month, now it's several thousand a month, we're seeing, our interest on our, primarily our general fund and our combined utility, which are the two largest accounts.
Thank you, Jason, for that, because he went and investigated that and talked to the bank people and
Yeah,
said, hey, yeah.
We had to fight for a little bit, but we had a lot of money in the bank, they want to use this customer, so they did right with us.
Any other questions from the council? Any questions from the participant? Chief?
Hi, just wanted to voice in on this, Mr. Dara's concerns, because it affected me directly. And if you don't know this, be aware of this, because this happened to us. Our mortgage was sold in December, okay? We got the new information from the new mortgage company. We made our payments. When we made our first payment in January, towards the middle of January, we were then notified that they bought our mortgage. We basically had a whole new mortgage company. But our taxes and our insurance were stopped. They normally come out of my payment and the mortgage company pays it. The new mortgage company said they had no duty to do that, and that the former mortgage company was supposed to have notified and made sure that that was transferred over. They did not, because they said, we're no longer their customer. And then the new company said they didn't have a duty to do that, that it was our responsibility. So we didn't know until we got the late notice. So if your mortgage has changed companies, just be aware of that, because that is a situation we had to deal with. And of course, you do get late fees and all of this stuff associated with that. But just, if your mortgage has been sold, just be aware of that. It was just not a fun experience. Just wanted to chime in on that since Mr. Dara had asked that question.
Anybody else have any comments or questions? Sharon, is there anybody on Zoom with a comment or question?
No one has commented this time.
Okay, thank you, Jason, and I want to thank Jason also. He doesn't roll his eyes or hang up on me when I call him or email him with I had found another grant opportunity. This could be in the middle of the night or, thank you, Jason. Let's go ahead, Jason, if you'll please present our department heads with their reports.
Well, Chief, since you just spoke, would you care to be yours, anything you have, and we'll jump in for Terry and Cody?
Sharon, is this?
Yeah, you're great.
All
Mhm.
right, first off, I'd like to give a thank you to Jason and to the council for approving our purchase of our new body cameras. Because all of our existing body cameras are at the end of their lifespan and they've all failed. So we're waiting, the new ones have been ordered, we're just waiting on them to arrive. So we want to give a special thank you for that. A few things here, quick reminder, remember, take your bird feeders down. We're at that time of the year, and yes, we've already had some issues with bears already in town. I've had a direct contact with DNR already. And one of the culprits is Spring Lake, our neighbor. There's a gentleman over there who has been reported by his neighbors feeding the bears, just like we had here several years ago. So they contacted us, we contacted DNR because that's not our jurisdiction, but that is an issue that has already started. We've also had some encounters at the dumpsters. Yogi's gonna check the dumpsters for food. He is definitely gonna do that. We've had several encounters. One of their favorite targets is the dumpster that you may be aware of there when you turn to go to the chapel. That timeshare dumpster right there. Well, people, not timeshare, are whipping in there and throwing their McDonald's bags in that dumpster and driving off. Well, he's coming, checking it and finding food. They're gonna have to start locking that, and we've already talked with them about them having to lock their dumpster because of this. And we've had, the bear coming there usually comes down the little creek off Knob. We've monitored, and we had a lady encounter the bear over there near the post office. He ignored her, he was walking down the street, but he went straight to that dumpster. So they'll ignore you for the most part, but we are already seeing a little activity with the bears. Hogs, not so much, because there's no pressure on them down in War Woman right now. When they put pressure on them, they will drive them this way. But right now, we're pretty good with that. A thing that we're noticing on the police department, in the past 2 years, mostly 2 to 3 years, is the daily population increase of Sky Valley, daily. And it's all the short-term rentals. More people are here. We used to have houses, as you know, sit empty 6, 8 months of the year. Well, now they've all got people in them. So we're seeing a lot more issues with the compactor. Our officers at night are having to go down there and reset the compactor constantly. Because strangers to our town don't know how to cycle the door, and they just stack it up there in the middle of the night, and here comes the bear. So we've been having a little bit of issue with that, because we have a lot of people who are just one-time visitors here that don't know kind of our rules and go-bys here. Getting onto the law, more of the law enforcement side instead of housekeeping is, the number of calls we're getting has drastically increased. And some of them are legitimate calls, some of them are just the same old, just informative type calls. We do have a couple locations in town that we're quite aware of. People are referring to them now as the party house down the street. And yes, we have had issues with them, and they are leading to increases in calls. I'll be honest with you, we've had several times when we get called in the middle of the night and it's a group of young people in their 20s. One of them rented it, brought 10, 15 friends. They're having a cake party. They're on the deck, they're in the hot tub, they're out to 2 and 3 in the morning. The neighbors are calling and complaining. Well, they get frustrated with us because I called you last weekend. Well, that was a different group. The house changes 2 to 3 times sometimes a week. So it's always different people. So please be aware that we're having a high turnover. And a lot of our people in town now, and you may be one of them, are installing Nest or Ring cameras on their houses. And they're not even in town, and they're getting worried because they're starting to see more people in their driveway or parked on the street by their house, and they're getting worried about that. And that has led to some calls for us that can be quite hairy, so to speak. Great example of that the other day, and this past week has just been one of those weeks. We had a neighbor walking by a house all day, from morning, their early morning walk, all the way to their after dark walk. And they noticed a house was open all day and nobody there. Well, that night they called, said, hey, you may want to go check on this. There's nobody there. We walked by the house 10 times today. No one's there. All the doors are open. Maybe y'all want to check that out. We send an officer over there, and that's when the situation gets a little hairy for us. We don't know what we're going into, obviously, so we have protocols for this. But the homeowners were there. They had been there all day. They had come back from Florida. They had opened all their doors, and they were there. Well, when the officer walks up on the porch in the middle of the night with a flashlight, they get scared, freak out, and go into full panic mode about this. What's to keep them from just shooting the officer right there on their porch? Nothing. We have protocols. When we approach a residence, we knock, we announce, and if the doors are not secured, and these were wide open, before we ever cross that threshold, we have to announce. And we've got our cameras on, and we announce. And once the homeowner heard the announcement and realized it was the police, they were okay. But up to that point, they were terrified. They thought someone was coming in on them. So those are the kind of things that we're starting to, Sky Valley, that used to be acceptable behavior for the homeowner. Now it's not. The other day, very similar call. I was on shift, same type of call. Illegally parked car, the house, the doors are open, and loud music coming out of it. I get over there, car parked on the side of the road, right there at the stop sign. Go up, beer cartons, beer bottles everywhere. Bang on the door, no one. Doors open, go around to the back and check that. All the doors are open. Bottles, clothes, stuff strewn everywhere. Radio going, TV going, clothes all over the floor. So I'm thinking, okay, it looked like someone may have kind of been in here rambling. Make entry into the house, no one's there. Until I left shift that night at 7, the house stayed in that situation. Nothing changed. The people returned at about 11 that night. And then they checked out the next morning. And I got over there first thing in the morning and was there whenever they were checking out. And once again, young people from Clemson and University of Georgia had came over, One of them had rented a house and had put out a party invitation. So we're starting to see more and more of that. So, we're starting to have to deal with situations that traditionally we did not have to deal with. And quite honestly, we're barely equipped with it. With one person on a shift, those are not safe conditions. And it does you no good to call for someone. There is no one else to call. So just to make you aware, things are changing in our town and we're trying to keep up with that. We also have the other side of those calls when people will see, another call we had this week was, hey, there's a police car in my driveway at 2 o'clock in the morning. Officer shining a flashlight around. Then he went up and shined it in all the windows. Is he burglarizing my house? What's going on? Well, what's going on is, Paul Harvey, the rest of the story. The officer sees busted glass in your driveway. Did someone bust the glass and steal your car that was parked there? Or did he break into your house? I don't know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Officer stops, identifies and records with his camera all of the glass on the ground, walks to the house, checks the windows, checks the doors, house secure, documents it, logs it, carries on. But the homeowner don't know anything, and because they all have these cameras, they think the worst. We've also seen that with people pulling into your driveway because they're lost, their GPS is not working. And they pull over, I gotta get a signal, I gotta get a signal. Well, the homeowner with their Ring doorbell calls 911, someone's in their driveway. So that's because we're so used to the town being sleepy. It's not sleepy anymore, people. We have to adapt. So we're being hit with a lot of these types of things. I just want to bring that to your attention. Also, when we do have to encounter these people, they're a lot more aggressive and angry for us for showing up on these calls. Whether it's a traffic stop or, okay, someone's calling because you're supposed to be in Florida for the next 3 months, but there's someone at your house. We go knock on the door to find out, oh, you rented it for the weekend. You didn't tell nobody and you're on our checklist. So here we are, quote, harassing the renters. So we're dealing with that. Traffic stops, then how dare you stop me? I'm going to Highlands. I don't come to your little town. We hear that all the time. So people are getting a little bit more angry and more aggressive towards us. And at night, you're the only person with them. Sometimes it's a carload. And so it's putting us in more precarious situations, which circles back to thanks to Jason for getting us these new cameras, because our cameras are failing and they've all failed at this point. With all that said, we're gonna have to look at our policies on how we handle these types of calls, because our town has changed. The people in our town are not, a lot of them that we're dealing with are not our people. They're one-time renters. And they don't care about you, they don't care about me, they don't care about our rules. So we're gonna have to start addressing some of the things for safety reasons on how we approach and handle these things. One of the things we've always been proud of is our house checks. Well, we're gonna have to reevaluate how we do those. So that's gonna be some things that we're gonna have to address ourselves and see how we can maintain the level of service we provide and the safety for our people that are here, as well as the visitors. And so some of the people are not necessarily understanding on that. I think for the most part, that's the highlights of everything I want to call. I didn't want to get long-winded or anything like that. But these are some of the things that here just in the past 2 weeks, we've been having to deal with constantly. And on the last note, just so that everyone can know, the city has a burn pit on Knob Drive. We burn all the time. People call 911, they smell smoke. They see smoke. And there is nothing, until they call 911. And I'm not gonna joke about it. Some people have seen the smoke on their Ring camera and called. So just so you're aware, that's kind of going on. So if we can just let people understand that that is a sanctioned city action and function, and it's being monitored. Jerry and the guys keep an eye on it. They keep someone on site. but we do get questions about that quite regularly, about this, about the smell of the smoke and seeing the smoke in the sky. And, you know, what I don't understand is why don't they call City Hall and ask? They'll wait till 9 o'clock at night and say, you know, this morning I saw smoke and smelled it. Well, now it's 10 o'clock at night and they wanna call them. City Hall's not open. So they call 911, so. That's all I had. Does anybody have any questions? I'm sorry for getting long-winded, but there's a lot going on right now in town. Yes,
I would like to add that the Planning and Zoning Commission is still working on the short-term rental protocols, and our city attorney, has gotten back to us with a possible draft or two to look at, so that is still in the works, so we are gonna be addressing these issues. Chief.
okay. One other thing, we've been asked a lot, why don't you do something about these people running these stop signs and almost hitting me? Well, most of our stop signs are not legally posted. We've been in the process of raising them and making them legal signs. A lot of them go back to their old resort days when it didn't necessarily have it. So we're, you know, Jerry and the guys have been replacing, systematically going through town and adjusting and replacing the signs. We're probably soon gonna be trying to repaint the lines that we had around town. Stop here with the lines. But we do get, you know, sometimes people are just trying to pick a fight with us and, you know, accuse us of stuff, and we understand that. But just if you do get asked, that's something we're aware of, that's something we're addressing, and it will be worked out. Everything can happen immediately. We have a lot going on. Yes, sir.
Was there an incident on 246?
Many. Which, be more specific.
The traffic was backed up all the way past Kelly's Creek Road
When?
one day.
But it could have been any day. In the past month, we've had, I think, 2 semis lay them over on 246. We've had another what you call a cargo box truck, get stuck on the road, and we had to shut the road down to get double wreckers in there to keep the truck from falling over, so they had to block the road. It could have been any of those, or keep in mind, when you get out of the city, in the North Carolina section and in the Raven, and then in the city of Dillard, they don't tell us if they have an issue down there, so I wouldn't know.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I just want to add, I know the chief threw a lot of things out there, but the glass is not all half empty. A lot of these challenges that we're having, we do have a new resident packet. We're also looking at trying to create a business packet with our communications and our visitor center. We get a lot of traction, so we're trying to communicate to our one-time or seasonal residents also, hey, welcome to Sky Valley, and also communicating with our owners. We're renting these houses out, the responsibility they have. So I do appreciate you sharing those concerns, but communication is important as part of resolving a lot of these issues, and we are working to actively or proactively address these issues head on.
That's why Sharon's working 24/7. In that
Pretty close.
That's true. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, ma'am.
Jason, who would you like to speak?
We'll let Jerry Show, our public works director, and Cody English, our water coordinator. I think have you worked.
Morning, how's everybody today?
How are you today, Jerry?
I'm doing lovely. I would like to, thank the office personnel, the police department during this move from City Hall, well, old City Hall to the new City Hall. Everybody had hands on, the ladies were wonderful, the police.
And they were
department.
even putting furniture together.
They were, and had tools and ready to go, you know, it worked out well, it was a good experience. Jason touches on a lot of my stuff too, but, it's like the culvert project by the old lodge. We are as well doing the culvert project, Bruce mentioned on our own in-house, that we're doing to, improve some of the drainage and the runoff, the ditches, we're redefining them when we get to them, and have the time to clean them out good. We're leaf backing, we still have areas that needs to leaf back down on, we just haven't got there yet. The new equipment, we received a Bobcat skid steer
I'm sure everybody knows what a skid steer is. It has been used on just about every project that we've worked on in the last, since we've had it, how long we had it? About a month. It's been, saves a lot of time, you can do anything you need to do with it, and we really appreciate it as well. We have the backhoe, the old backhoe, 97 backhoe that's wore out, and seen its better days, got a John Deere Gator that's no longer, it hadn't been running for a couple of years now, and we got it ready to surplus and getting ready to get rid of the backhoe as well. I got two guys that are out, one left us, I don't really know what happened, but he was the last one we hired, he had some issues come up and he had to leave. And had one last week, Thursday, about 1 o'clock in the evening, was leak backing, stepped in a hole, broke his ankle, broke his foot, so he's gonna be out, he was one of the older guys, he's gonna be out for a while, not sure how long yet. The roads being paved, as Jason touched on, there's other roads that we need to get attention on. But the roads that we have paved were roads that needed it more than some of the ones that people are talking about right now as well that need to be paved. I do look at them, assess them, and try to put them in some type of order to make sure they get paved in a timely manner. Precision Paving done a great job. We had some patches out there where we had cut the road ourselves and fixed water leaks. He had asphalt left over, he went over there, patched it and went with that, so I thought that was nice to, you know, for them to do that, and, the guys just keep pushing. I mean, we are what we are and do what we can do. And I just want to speak highly of them. It don't, it's like Jason said, it's not, we might be out here pushing dirt and then you get that call and you gotta change your whole game face and do something else. Never complain or anything. It's just, we go and try to get it done. The service orders, the ladies, I don't see how they do it in the office. It comes in on a daily basis from homeowners, you know, this needs attention. It gets sent to us, and sometimes, you know, we'll get on that, and they receive multiple calls because we haven't made it there yet, and I just want to commend them on that. And,
I think they get paid per phone call, Jerry.
oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, y'all just hang in there, and I'll send it back to you. Grass cutting, it's here, it should be started within probably by the weekend. We'll continue leaf backing, tree trimming. We're doing everything we can. Of course, we're back down to 6 people now. When I had 8, I told Jason multiple times that it makes a big difference when you can send, you can actually run 3 crews at that point. You know, you got somebody 2 or 3 over here, 2 over here, and 1 or 2 over here. It makes a big difference, but, I appreciate everybody's patience and just bear with us and we'll get through and try to keep the city looking as best as we can.
Thank you, Jerry. Council, any questions or comments for Jerry?
I just want to say, Madam Mayor, touching on what Mr. Shelby just said, about 3 o'clock Friday afternoon, a phone call comes in of a water leak. And that's really not what you want to hear when it's knockoff time on the weekend, but, they mobilized, Council Derry was out there, I was out there. Nobody's complaining, it's late today on a Friday, worked all day long, worked hard all week. They just get it done. I come up there, Cody, who's our water coordinator, is up to his waist in water, never complaints, never anything. And, I'm very proud of this group. We are down 2 people. The gentleman that got hurt, we hope he will be back. We suspect he'll be out several weeks. And we have already posted the ad for the other position, actively advertising for that. And we will try to find the right person as quick as we can. And, I just want to share that, Jerry. Thank you.
I'd like to add to that is the great job that you all are doing communicating with the community. Sharon, when we had the Friday afternoon thing, and I called her, I happened to be driving by and the water was 20, 30 feet in the air. And then there were some dudes sitting around on a shovel just looking at it, so I knew we had problems. But you
Not
got,
our guys.
no, they weren't our guys. They couldn't speak English either. But Sharon had the message out telling everybody, and these messages, you know, we're cutting trees on such and such a street, we're doing this culvert. Not only does that help us as a community knowing where there might be tight spots, but it also helps all of us understand how much work Public Works does and other people. And I greatly appreciate that. I've expressed that to Sharon and I've expressed it to the council too.
This young lady right here too, I'd like to tell her thank you. She works hard on that entrance up there with the plants and.
No, Miss Becker.
Yes, I couldn't thank her right.
And it shows.
I told her before the paper started, it looked really good.
I thought you were gonna say she's helping out with the water leaks, but.
She's going to do that too.
For the watering.
Water.
Who's doing the watering?
Thank you, Jerry.
Morning, everybody.
Morning, Jody.
Before I get started on the GPR machine, Sharon, if you'll go to that picture of me pushing that thing.
I didn't know you were so tall, Cody.
I know, it's got me stretched out a little bit. Starting on Thursday, we're gonna be replacing a water line from our number 4 well house, which is behind the new club. We're gonna be bringing it out beside the club and we'll bring it all the way out to Tahoe Lane. So we're gonna, as long as the locates get done by Thursday, we're gonna start breaking ground. And we expect that's probably gonna take us probably into late next week, getting it all the way finished.
This is a new line?
It is a new line. We have, we band-aided that line, fixed it, you know, tore up the golf course, you know, the stuff. Steve Mason takes care of.
It's galvanized.
Yes, it's galvanized
And it's right at the 8 feet green. We've seen it many times.
Yeah.
Walk by it.
So we're gonna be bringing a new, PVC line out from there, through Tahoe. I'm gonna get with Sharon and we're gonna get an updates out probably daily on that, because we're gonna have to close the road on Tahoe, to get that all the way to the valve.
Cody, have we got the steel plates yet?
I have ordered the steel plates. I called him this morning.
Okay,
They'll probably be here mid next week.
so that we can
So,
possibly still
just
drive
about
over the
right on
road.
time,
Yeah,
right on time for when we're gonna leave.
Yep.
All right, moving on to the GPR machine, it's a ground penetrating radar. This is gonna give us the ability to, locate our water lines. Over the last several months, we've had many contractors blow through our water lines with the boring machine. So this is gonna get us a lot closer locate, so we can tell them where our water lines are. We had, Tom Story, which he's the sales rep for, Tracer Technologies, come out and demonstrate this device to us. And it's absolutely amazing. It can penetrate, asphalt, dirt, it's gonna pick up everything. It's gonna show us our PVC water lines. It's gonna show us power, anything that's more dense than the soil around it, it's gonna show us. So as far as, that goes, we're gonna be able to graph our water system. We're gonna be able to put it into a digital system through, GMRC. And they're going to,
create us this digital map where we can look at it through a tablet.
Just
gonna be a lot.
GMRC is Georgia Mountain Regional Commission.
This machine will also help us with culvert projects. I mean, the list is never ending of things this thing can do. It's gonna let us see culvert damage, you know, be able to assess, you know, if we need to replace it now or wait. So, it's great. Moving on. On the bull water advisories, we've put out several notices, within the last few months, you know, bull water advisories. I want to tell everybody that it is an advisory. We advise you, you know, you don't have to boil your water. It's just say it's protocol. There's different protocols for, the bull water advisories if we have something in our water, such as, you know, microorganisms, E. coli, different stuff like that. It's a different protocol. But if you look at the notices we've put out, we put in detail of what has happened, you know, bull water advisory because such and such has hit our water line, you know, and we have a water leak. So I just want to let everybody know that it is an advisory and that we have been putting out, through MailChimp, our Facebook page, the city website. Remind me if I'm forgetting one.
One call.
The one call. So that's four different ways. And also we've been putting out signs in the affected areas. The reason that we have to do the bull water advisory is through the EPD. And if the water line drops below 20 PSI, we have to issue a bull water advisory because it turns loose of the inorganics that could be on the inside of the pipe. But yeah, we have to do that through the EPD, so, I appreciate everybody's patience with that.
Cody, one of the things I want to go to touch about the bull water is, when we had the leak Friday, we had some people make comments on the city Facebook page asking, did we have to issue a bull water? Of course, we said no, so, you mentioned about the 20 pounds drop, but can you just provide people who may want to know why that a bull water was not required for there, even though some people temporarily lost
We
water?
did end up cutting the line down. We never shut the water off. I know some people lost pressure. I think you lost some pressure up on, at your house. But, that's because your house is a little bit higher than the main water line, you know. I say that to say that we fixed that service line under pressure. It never got below 20 PSI. So therefore we didn't have to issue a bull water advisory. As long as, like he touched on, as long as it's moving and it's not dropped below 20 PSI, it's not stop just letting that stuff that grows inside the pipe. I'm sure you've all seen inside the pipe you've taken out and just lets it come down into the water. Not saying that it's gonna hurt you or anything, but that's basically what it's doing. And like I said, it's protocol through the EPD. It's something that hasn't been done for years and we found out about it and we have to do it.
I just want to add one final thing. I know the meeting's going on, but, since we brought the testing in-house, Mr. English has his class 3 license. He's fixing to go back to school to get his class 2. These bull water advisories, we've had water leaks for years. And for years, there should have been bull water advisories made. But not throwing rocks at predecessors, but because of being able to bring this in-house, finding out that we were supposed to do this, we are being proactive now. So this is not I just want people to know that it's not something automatically just now going on with the water. I would say the water system is in better shape now than it's ever been. But this requirement should have been done for years and years and years, never has. We are following requirements, so that's all I want to say.
Like, does that, GPR, is it individualized? You, where I was at, is it like, this is the water line?
Yes, it gives different echo. It gives a different echo. When you see the water line, you can see it's got a wider echo, shape to it, you know what I'm saying? It sends back echo signals. And you can tell the difference between something that's, that big around versus something that's 6 to 8 inches around. So yes, you can see the difference. It's gonna give us the ability to be a little bit safer too, 'cause
That wand as well,
Yes,
it's come ready to help with the power too, so.
Any comments or questions for Cody from the council?
Just another thing, everything, public works.
And I did drive by while Cody was swimming in the hole up to his limits. It was raining, yes, you were the car, so yeah, and you were still smiling, sort of, Cody. Any questions or comments from the participants? Thank you. Jim, do you need to make any reports?
Sure, thank you. Good morning again. Good morning. Well, we've all been talking about the accolades of the beautiful council chambers here. And as the mayor indicated, if you haven't already, go through the door after the meeting here and check out City Hall. Chip Oliver, shout out to him who's not here. He did a great job. And just by virtue of all of us being here, I'm proud to say it passed inspection. Year to date, I've issued 60 permits so far. We're just, in the middle of April. I had to track down a couple of folks, for various reasons, probate in some cases that were inherited, and people doing the work without permits. But we're getting the word out, as we've all talked about here. And in fact, those of you, if you've driven by down at the post office, your boxes there, on our little bulletin board, I put up some sheets showing what requires permits. And I'm talking to all the contractors. One of the issues I've had, and I think Bob had it as well, after the work is done, a lot of people just don't call us to say, hey, come do the final inspection. And so, we get calls, hey, when are you gonna take this permit down? Well, we didn't know the work was done. There's expiration dates, obviously, but still, just if you could all be conscious of it, maybe folks on Zoom, et cetera, make sure that when the work is done, let us know. Just in the month of March, I issued 4 new certificates of occupancy on new homes. And right now we have 6 new homes under construction, various stages. And as Jason indicated earlier, we're expecting quite a few more new permits, applications for new builds. I've heard one on LaBelle, a couple of them on Evergreen, and we've got another one over there off of Buttons Lane. So I'm expecting, a pretty busy later spring and summer.
So Jim, you and Sharon will work 24/7, is that right?
Well, I think we already are. Speaking of Sharon, and I know that the chief mentioned it earlier, bird feeders, they were supposed to have been taken down Saturday, April 15th, and not supposed to be put back up until November 16th, because November 15th is the last day. And again, speaking of Sharon, I want to thank her personally for all the work she's done. She did MailChimp and I asked her to get the bird feeder notice out to everybody. And also, between Sharon and I, we're in the process of finalizing the permits and putting the current city logo on there. A lot of what we have is old material, if we even have it at all. So thanks again, Sharon, for that. Communication specialist is doing a wonderful job.
9/11 signage, I mentioned that at the last meeting. Following the Sky Valley News, again, Sharon, I asked her to put a blurb in there about the 9/11 signage. She did that. As a result of that, we had a handful of people comply and put up some new signs, but we still have, I'd say more than a handful that are not putting their address signs out for compliance with 9/11, you know, for medical and fire and first responders. So, in the very short, near future, I'm gonna start sending out letters to folks that are not in compliance. So if any of you happen to see, you know, don't want to witch hunt, but if any of you happen to see that, something that, hey, my next door neighbor or somebody down the road, you know, they need a sign. Because we got a call, actually, I ended up deferring to Cody, it was a water leak, I think it ended up being a septic actually. But I drove up and down Wall Mountain 3 times before I could find this house. I just took a wild guess and said, well, that steep driveway looks like it might be it. And I let the homeowner know. They were under the impression that they couldn't put up any signs without a permit. And I said, well, you can put up your address sign, so, yeah.
Jim, I got a quick question. There's a residence on Cobblewood that I believe does not have one of those signs. Is there a number, or do we contact the city, or can that resident call?
There actually is a number I'll be happy to share with you. I don't have it
Yeah,
at hand, but, yeah, there's a number. A lot of you may have the little green signs that are kind of standard around here. I personally have one. But and also in the Sky Valley News, I put out the information on the criteria. You don't have to go through them to get that sign. You can do your own. It gives you the specifications on how many inches it has to be. The background has to contrast the numbers so that it's clearly visible. But yeah, I'll be glad to send that out to you.
it'd be nice to keep it uniform because it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
everybody else.
They come do it for you,
Yeah. Yeah, and then, you know, I mean, it's, I forgot the exact cost, but just the sign itself, if you want to install it, you can purchase it from them, or they'll come out and install it.
Sharon, maybe you can put that
Yeah,
information
happy to.
in, that'd be great.
And I don't want to start any trouble with this residence, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
So, and again, getting back to Public Works and water folks, before I walked out the door Friday afternoon, I mean, I was just walking the door, walking out, I get a phone call from one of my neighbors, hey, what's going on with Ridgepole? I don't have any water pressure. I said, look, I'm looking into it, on my way home, I think I may have been behind you. I have 2 people flag me down, because they know who I am, I live on Ridgepole. So what's going on? So, you know, thank you guys, thank you Sharon again for putting out some information as quickly as you did. Thank you guys.
Any other questions or comments for Jim? Jim, maybe you need to introduce yourself. I'm sorry, I didn't, in case people don't know who you are in the audience.
Jim Byron, building inspector.
Extraordinaire.
I succeeded Bob Powers, who we'll talk about here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I've been on my job now a little over 4 months, so excited. I've had a house here for 14 years, been a full-time resident for 3 years. And this is where I want to be. This is the place to be.
Thank you, Jim. All right, let us move on to our wonderful committee reports, and we also appreciate all our citizens who give us their time, expertise, work on our committees. You certainly make our job on the council a whole lot easier, and we do a better job because of you. I'm gonna start off with you, Gordon. If you will present the marketing committee report, that would be great.
Right. Again, good morning. Good morning. Just being a brief update, what's happening, first would be the Sky Valley Reserve website. Sharon's been very busy on that. She's been operating, and part of it is bringing activities that are happening in the city and putting them down and making sure that people possibly can stay in Sky Valley. Sharon also has been, we've had a lot of gallery of photos, so she added new photos to the gallery. So thank you again, Sharon. She's very busy on that. Wanted to talk to you in terms of publishing hard copy. We have just run an ad in the North Georgia Golf Mountain magazine. Sharon updated this, but again, new photos. One will be, of course, in July. The North Georgia, this magazine has 10,000 copies. And 10,000 copies, there's 500 locations that is distributed in North Georgia. Another 200 locations that are right in the Atlanta area. also to Georgia's visitor centers and parks. So it's a big deal instead of it. So this will be, the distribution will be from, May through July. Then they'll have, this is what's called the spring summer edition. Also wanted to up to your date, this is a big deal, it's gonna be coming up here for Doug Hollingsworth of Golf Light Marketing. Doug is, of course, a big proponent of bringing the media in, and Doug has arranged with, he says, one of the 4 top media specialists in terms of the golf industry. These people are coming from Minnesota, they're coming from Philadelphia area, Alabama, Florida. And essentially what he's doing is the week of, May the 15th, he's gonna have them visit Georgia. And they're gonna look at the, of course, the Georgia Gulf of Hagen. And at this time, he's specifically taken one day out of this, it's called May the 18th, where he's gonna have this group come here and visit Georgia, and visit Sky Valley for the day. So this is a big deal, and he's really talking about it. So what we have done is we put up a timeline for this visit. It's a preliminary one, and we'll finish it up. We have a marketing meeting at the end of the month. So essentially, they'll be coming in on May the 18th. This is on a Thursday. They'll check in at 10 o'clock. We're gonna meet at the Golf Pro Shop. And this time, Jared Bill Thanks has donated 2 condos. So they'll check in. At 10:30, we're gonna meet, and then we're gonna have a tour of Sky Valley. And the POA, and representative of the POA, give an hour-and-a-half tour, Sky Valley. Part of it will be coming to the visitor center and then showing the sites. This is the real estate part of it. So I think, Jim, you've done this in the past. I know you're gonna be out of town, but it's always been, it's always been a big impact, hasn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'm very interested in that aspect.
Yeah, and so after that, 12 o'clock, in terms of this tour, the Sky Valley, Budget Club will provide lunch. 1:30, basic is, again, they will have a group golf event, again, provided by the country club. And then after that, at 5:30, they're gonna have a group dinner. Sky Valley Country Club's gonna have a buffet dinner, and we're inviting them there. And of course, this will be a great opportunity for, of course, the writers to meet, greet, see people, and, understand just why this is such a super place to be. That's always been a powerful thing to do. In terms of goodie bags, we're gonna give them special goodie bags. In terms of what's, in the goodie bags, they'll have real estate, what's happening in the area in Sky Valley, also things to do in Sky Valley. And we're gonna give them a special gift in terms of the club, special clothing item they'll have. And then after the dinner and the Friday, they'll check out. There's really no scheduled events at all. So they'll essentially be on their way in the morning. So it's gonna be a powerful event. You'll see a lot of, I guess he was saying, Doug was saying that these 4 writers will reach over 1 million people in terms of the markets. He thinks this is gonna be a very powerful message. He's very excited to do it.
Gordon, what was that, the date of that event?
It's gonna be May the 18th. It's on Thursday. They'll come in the morning, and then it'll be a very busy day, and then they'll check out on the Friday to go somewhere else. Any questions? I think it's a big deal. It's should be a lot of fun. That's it. Any other questions?
Not a question,
Yeah.
but to add on to that, I don't know how many of you have ever watched the PBS show called A Fork in the Road. If you've seen the one that was done on Raven County this recently, and that's PJ Thompson. I know Sharon, you now serve on the Forward Raven slot. But this is, if you haven't seen this and it shows up on your schedule, watch it. It did the distillery, it did the beekeeper. The trout farm that the state runs over here in the Lindbergh Hatchery. It's really a great program, and there were actually some pictures of Sky Valley, but it didn't identify Sky Valley. But it's just one of those things that our marketing dollars go towards that. Actually, I guess there's 60% of the hotel motel tax goes to 40, no, it goes to the county. 40 goes to the county.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Gordon. All right, Ms. Becker, our new chairperson of our wonderful landscaping committee, if you'll come over. Yay.
Good morning. Mayor and council members. I'm Cheryl Becker, 222 Redwood Trail, and I'm happy to be here today to have the opportunity to tell you of the Landscaping Advisory Committee's recent activities. We've had 2 meetings since the beginning of the year, and we are working with our city landscaper, Mark Wanamaker. We have the plans for the front entrance, which will be similar to last year. The plants that, the annuals that were planted did very well last year, and we asking Mark to keep those the same. We are adding some new pollinator plants down on the teardrop part of the entrance that hopefully will reseed this year, because we're gonna clear out some of the pine straw that's gotten too thick, so the plants cannot reseed themselves. The next thing that we looked at was the post office area, and we're going to put some different annuals or perennials in the front flower bed by the building, because the plants there do not do well. The summer heat gets to them, so we're going to do something more drought resistant, a little bit hardy in there. We also are ready to put the bench in. I will coordinate with Mark Wanamaker on laying down the pavers, and then we'll be doing some landscaping there. We will coordinate with the Sky Valley Garden Club and the POA to help assist in some additional landscaping areas that we're going to be doing with some funding from them. The other thing, of course, is this new building, getting some landscaping for it, and the 2 planters that are on either side of the entrances. They will have some evergreens so that we have color all year, and some additional 9 barks. And then there'll be some annual or perennial plantings in the front there. Out at the sign, there will be some 9 barks. And 9 barks are a native plant, and they, if you are familiar with the burning bush plant, they're like a burning bush, only they're native, and they do beautiful color in the fall. So that will give us color, and then there'll be some evergreens out there and annuals for that area. So we will continue to work with Mark and coordinate what we can. Does anyone have any? The only other request we have, since this area out here does not have water, there's no irrigation to it, we're hoping maybe some of the city employees might take the hose from around back and give them a water.
I think that's Sharon.
Is that? Just wave to people when you're out there. Is there any questions, anyone?
I know, Cheryl, that you had graciously said that the garden club would help to pay for some of the little sprinklers for those beautiful pots at our front entrance, so that certain people won't have to water them. So we're gonna be working on that with our irrigation company that we have put in. Is that correct, Jason?
If we can get with the irrigation company and just see if there's some microjets or something that can be run from the existing irrigation there, the garden club will be glad to pay for them.
Yeah.
For the installation of that system, so.
Is that about $50,000, Jason?
I have a schematic of that where they came in.
Right.
It's not, I mean, it's just on a small sheet of paper.
That'd be great.
And can look and see if anything's close to where they could just hook to or whatever there to get water.
So that it would come on the same time our regular sprinklers come on. I
Yeah.
assume is what we're talking about.
Sure, I'll do it for 20,000.
Well, I might do it now. So is the pump working now? After, do you close it through the pump that's out front by the Bald Mountain Road?
Yes, it's all.
It's on now? Okay.
I know that you all had been talking about planting the plantings around the post office, and I don't know, Jason, if we have mentioned that we are going to have to add additional post office boxes because we are all out. So there's still discussion with the postmaster. Jason, you want to talk about that?
Madam Mayor, we met with, postmaster, about a month ago, and the city owns the building. However, we found out through one of our residents that has institutional knowledge that when that building was built, the post office provided the boxes. And so the postmaster is trying to find out if he has the ability to provide the boxes. We would have to provide the labor to install those boxes. So, I'm gonna follow up with him. It's been about 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
But, we do realize, we all know the city is growing, and the really only place that we can add those is on the front of the building. So we're gonna take out that shrub. We looked at doing some of the cluster boxes, but they've got some concerns about safety with those. But we are hoping to add, I think, about 40 new boxes. And, I will follow up with the postmaster here, see where we're at with that.
And I know that,
We did talk about
You did
that,
talk about that.
and we're just awaiting
I figured
a
you did.
decision, and we will move, that flower bed has a big box with it or whatever, and we will relocate those.
and what did y'all decide about the boxes by the restroom, by the pavilion, just they're okay?
They are, and I don't know, we planted those same times we did the ones by the pavilion at the croquet lawn. And the, jasmine right now over there, the Carolina jasmine is a bright, beautiful yellow bloom. And so I'm thinking ours should be blooming there too, and the dahlia was also fine. Those everything in there survived this winter. And we will be getting some hostas to put, and have the garden club do Ridgepole and Sky Valley Way. The other areas all look pretty good, and then we are gonna add some hostas around the new, city of Sky Valley sign that's on Bald Mountain Road. Everything died there, the ferns that were put there last time, and we think it's from the chemicals that come from the road runoff. But we're going to put some new soil in there and try the hostas and see if they will.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Madam Mayor, a question, while we're talking about the post office, water that accumulates in the back. You know what I'm talking about?
I've got a plan for that. I'm gonna put a drop box drain in there and then run it up out to that existing ditch.
What is the
Mentioned
purpose?
this to Jason several times.
What is the purpose of the piece of culvert that's lying up above it?
It's not there. It's gone now.
In the back of your truck?
No,
So that where the hornet's nest was at?
just close.
That was the delay.
Any other questions or comments? Cheryl, you are one hard-working woman. Thank you so much for all you do. I rode by her one day and she was digging in somebody's yard and stealing their plants, trying to the city today. But we won't talk about that. All right, Mayoral Advisory Committee, Bill.
We are gonna convene next Thursday afternoon at 2:00 here. And have the agenda out.
All right, great. All right, new business. Consider approval of proclamation of National Arbor Day, April 28th, 2023. Jason, if you'll just talk about this quickly, about the proclamation, because we probably need to move on.
Madam Mayor, the month of April is, historically Arbor Day. And just to paraphrase this proclamation, it began in 1872 in Nebraska, knowing that trees add value in many ways, as far as paper, wood for houses, and there's countless other uses, enhance and beautify the community. And the city, we participated in the Tree City USA. You probably have seen the signs that we have, I think, for 7 years. Every year they send us a new placard, we add that to, we actually have a Tree City flag, we just haven't put up yet, but anyway. This is part of that proclamation to maintain that Tree City status. And so this year, Tree City, our Arbor Day will be the 28th of April. And basically, the goal of Arbor Day is to encourage people to plant trees. I know Sharon and I, we talked about maybe trying to, I think it's the 28th, I don't have a calendar. That's a Friday. We talked about maybe actually trying to find a place out here, maybe by the picnics and plant a small tree, just to commence that. But the proclamation being signed today and affixed by the mayor's hand would just simply, we acknowledge Arbor Day and the importance of Arbor Day. And if anybody wants a copy of the proclamation, it's
All right, I need to hear a motion to approve the proclamation for National Arbor Day.
I move we approve the proclamation for Arbor Day.
Thank you, Jim. Second?
so.
Thank you, Tony. Any discussions or remarks? All right, all in favor of approving this proclamation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by saying nay. The motion carries. Let's move on to, Jason, if you'll please talk about the proclamation to recognize the life and service of a former employee, Bob Powers.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I would like to lead this proclamation. As you all know, Bob Powers, a longtime employee, suddenly passed last fall after a brief illness. And a lot of people have very fond memories of him. And so, as I mentioned earlier, we have a bench here that we do plan to put out at the pavilion, post office area. And so either way, proclamation, Office of the Mayor, City of Sky Valley, Georgia. A proclamation to celebrate the life and service of Bob Powers. Whereas Robert Bob Powers served the city of Sky Valley, Georgia for many years up until his untimely passing. Bob served various roles to include public works and building inspection. And whereas during his time with the city, Bob was a key member of the city staff and was caring, enthusiastic, and loved by all. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed on behalf of the mayor, the city council, the city employees, and the citizens of Sky Valley, that the city council expressed to the family of Bob Powers their sincere appreciation for his loyal and distinguished service in helping to make Sky Valley a great place to live, work, and play. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the official seal of the city of Sky Valley, Georgia, on this 18th day of April, 2023. Mayor Holly Style, and then the test carrying from city clerk.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the proclamation to recognize the memory of Bob Powers?
So moved.
Thank you, Bill. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Tim. Any discussion? Vanessa? He was a very nice gentleman. All in favor of approving this proclamation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Consider approval of proclamations, our last one, y'all, for the municipal clerks week, April 30th through May 6th. And we so depend upon our city clerk and deputy city clerk. We appreciate everything they do for us. They are always busy. Do you need to say anything about that proclamation?
Just want to say that, very appreciative to, Ms. Fleming and Ms. Laylock, again, the clerks. A lot of the things that they help make happen. So, everything will keep the records to, helping with the accounting, making sure everything's squared away and we're just very thankful for the clerks that we have. And again, it's very fitting that we had the opportunity to do this proclamation.
Amen. I'd like to hear a motion to approve the proclamation for our municipal clerks week.
So moved.
Thank you, Bill. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Bruce. Any discussion besides they're wonderful? Okay, all in favor of approving this proclamation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? If so, we will throw you on your head. Motion carries. Now for public forum, is there anyone in the audience that would wish to make a comment to the council at this time? Good.
Well, Holly, from this side of the bench, we're gonna I'm gonna try to put together a city cleanup from, the junction up to the entrance and maybe just a little further down there. We try to do it every quarter and have noticed that, it seems like less and less. Seems like as soon as we do it, people throw it down there, but, that's forthcoming, before everybody gets back. I've also noted that, going down the new road, there's a little bit of stuff, and I'm not sure unless we can get the community, excuse me, some people with their golf carts and just going up and down there, pick up some stuff. That would be easy for us because it's a little steep grade for us to actually walk it, but I just wanted to let you all know.
Not if we go downhill, Bruce.
Well, that's right. Somebody's got to pick, well,
Pick it back up.
we've kind of stopped doing, from the front entrance, down to here, because it's real dangerous, especially, coming down because all the cars fly. I've seen a sign there, adopt a highway from yeah, but, it's just too dangerous for anyone to, do that. And if they have a sign, let them do that, but just wanted you to be aware.
And we appreciate the police telling us when we do that. also.
Yeah, that's very appreciative. You can shadow us a little bit.
Thank y'all for coming to our first meeting. Sorry it was so long. We'll try to do better next time, maybe not. So I hear a motion to
I
adjourn.
so moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah.